Hello, hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to talk about growing up in an African household with a learning disability. Okay, I'm just going to jump straight into it. I'm going to talk about my experience personally. I grew up in a Nigerian household. It was very strict on the learning aspect of things. My parents are very strict on education. Of course, if you're Nigerian yourself, you would know that education is not free in Nigeria, and a lot of children struggle to pay for it. A lot of children don't even get the opportunity to have an education because it's literally, if you can't pay for it, that's your own business. That's the sort of system that's in Nigeria. So obviously when I came to this country and when I started my education here, it was very much like, make sure you're the best, make sure you do this, make sure you do that, make sure you get A star, A star, A star, like the best possible mark, make sure you are the top of the class. And growing up, I always knew that I had something. I always knew that every time I would learn, it would take me longer to understand things, and I was fortunate enough to hang around with the geeky or the nerdy kids, so they would always explain stuff to me after. Especially when it came to spelling, I was absolutely appalling at spelling. I just did not do that. And I remember reading in primary school, I used to hide under the tables because I did not want the teachers to pick me to read, because every time I would look at the book, the words would it just looks like the words are going like this. The words are just jumbled up. The words are not in a consecutive order as they should be. So in my head, I would see different words. So that made me feel embarrassed, because it's like I'm always seeing different things on the page and everyone's like, come on, you idiot, it doesn't say that. It went unnoticed because obviously I was hiding. I didn't let it show. So when we were reading, the teachers won't notice that I'm under the table. When we were spelling, I did badly, but because I was so good at maths and science, it kind of brought it up. So my English used to be like literally down here, and then my maths and science would be up here. So I would look like I'm an average student, but I really was not. I was struggling just to be on that average level. I was struggling, and I used to feel so much pressure because there was 5 tables in my primary school, I remember this, and I used to be on the second highest, and I always said, one day I want to get to the top, I want to get to the top. And also my parents would put pressure on me, and now that I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, what the fuck does the top table have to do with anything in my life? Like, no, like the top table does not affect my life right now. Like, why was I worried about it? Children worry about the most trivial things. Like, it's just so stupid. I actually went to boarding school in Nigeria for the first couple of years of my secondary school, for reasons still unknown to me. I don't know why they sent me. I don't know why they sent me there. But yeah, that was one of the worst experiences I think I've had, because they are very pushy in Nigeria for results, and they are very strict in school. There's still corporal punishment. So I literally in the lessons did not understand a single thing. Like, I did not understand anything, and so people thought I was just dumb, people thought I was stupid, but they really just misunderstood what I was going through in my head. Because obviously when you have a learning disability, it takes a lot longer for you to process things. So if a teacher's moving at the speed of Sonic X, you can't keep up because your mind is still on A and they're on X, and they just keep going like that, and they'll tell you to read the books, but I can't fucking read the books because every time I open the books, the words are moving. Like, I can't do it, and I have low concentration span, so everything is it was just a mess to me. And it got to the point where I just thought, fuck it, actually fuck it. And I've never felt that way about education, I must say. I'm always excited. I was always excited to go to primary school. I'm still excited to learn. Like, every stage that I've been through, I was always excited to go to school, and that being in Nigeria gave me the worst nonchalant attitude. Honestly, I just did not care. I was like, if the principal walks in, if anything happens, anybody walks in, I just do not care right now. I was just a class clown. I just made everyone laugh. I used to get beaten so much. Like, I used to get beaten so much, get punishments. The education system in Nigeria really needs to change, because that was one of the best schools in Ibadan, which was the city that I studied at. It was one of the best schools in that city. So, and it wasn't even one of the best schools in that city. It was one of the best schools in the country. Oh, Jesus. And it was that bad. For me, it was a nightmare. So obviously I think my mum noticed this, and she was like, okay, we're sending her back to England. So I go back to secondary school in England, and again, my learning disability went unnoticed, because I always had the support of my smart friends. You know, they would explain things to me. When I started to think it might actually be a serious problem is before the mock exams, I would start revising like 2 weeks in advance just to understand it, and I would sit there and I would read the same sentence like 50 times and it wouldn't work, and I'm like, I don't understand what it's saying to me. I literally do not understand. It just looks like words. You know, because I knew it took me longer, so I would start revising earlier, and you know, I would have friends who did it the day before and get higher grades than me, and fair enough, they could be answering the question more, but honestly, I knew that I put in so much effort, and you know, when you put in so much effort and someone who puts in less effort than you gets better, it feels like, what did I do wrong? Like, we talk about the exam and I'm like, yeah, I wrote the same thing, yeah, I did that, yeah, I did that, and yeah, I still got less of a grade. So that went on up until when I got to sixth form. When I got to sixth form, I think I had more freedom to choose my subjects, so I chose the ones that interested me, one of them being sociology, along with philosophy as well. Even though they're long, comprehensive, and a bit complex when it comes to reading the text, I really enjoyed knowing about society and knowing about theoretical and knowing about sociological theories about why society is shaped the way it is, and how they use that to explain different things like religion, the use of families, the reason for crime in society and stuff like that. You know, it was really interesting. And you know, philosophy, I feel like it was really where I found myself spiritually, where I could say, okay, I agree with that point and I disagree with this, and I was able to start thinking for myself. So I went on to university. So at university was again, I was still getting the same problem. Like, my friends who literally started their essay literally 3 days before it's due were getting higher grades than me, who started 2 weeks ago, me who's been to the teacher and been like, what should I put in and stuff like that, and they're still getting better grades than me. One day I was actually talking to a friend of mine and she was like, oh, I just got tested for dyspraxia, and I was like, oh, where did you get that done? And then she said, our university, and I was like, they give you tests here? And she was like, yeah. So I went to go and see if they had a test for dyslexia, and they did. Just going there and just hearing that, yeah, you do have a learning disability, honestly, it was like a huge weight off my shoulder, because it was something I knew from when I started the education system. It was something that I knew, but I just never knew that service was offered. And I feel like growing up in an African household, we don't actually acknowledge learning disabilities, and we don't actually acknowledge how much it can affect a child's behaviour, how much it can affect a child's confidence, and how much it can affect their self-esteem, and how much it can affect their actual process within schools. It was really traumatic for me to bring home homework that had time in it because I knew I would get it wrong, and I knew I would get beaten or I would get shouted at. And you know, it really affects a child's confidence when they are going through something but they don't know how to express it, and they don't even want to express it. That's the biggest thing. They don't want to express it because they know you'll just be like, oh, you're saying bad things to yourself, oh, keep cursing yourself like this. And honestly, that attitude needs to change within African households, because when you keep putting your child down and you're not letting them tell you how they feel. So yeah, that was just my story. I know a lot of Africans go through this, and I would just say, if you feel like you've got a learning disability or something, really seek help, despite what your parents say, because your welfare. Thank you for watching my video. Please like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.